Hi, this is Olga. I am going to talk about a very tough subject, obviously, as everyone is. But this was brought on this morning. Uh, I'll give you a background story. My friend Lisa Berry, who I met on Facebook, is a DJ at KTIS radio station, and I listen every day. She's on in the mornings up until 2 p.m. And when there was unrest in the cities, in the Twin Cities, in Minneapolis to be specific, she reached out to me last week and said, I want to talk to you, I want to interview you, and I want to hear your story. So I gave her, just a little bit, glimpse of my, you know, racial bias stories or racism that I've experienced. And this morning she played, a clip on the radio, and she had also posted that on Facebook on Monday, I believe. And as I listened to it on the radio, it was kind of different, it just brought me to, a more emotional place. And I wasn't going to say much about it, but the place that it brought me was, I felt like, wow, I wish that was all the story was. And, while people are dealing with, everything that's going on that started last week, with the death of George Floyd, I've been battling a huge racial battle for like, I'm going to say a year and 5 months. And so when all this happened last week, I was exhausted. I was like, do I need to feel these things again? And it was a really emotional week for me. I mean, this week, it's been a little better because, I'm sort of monitoring my news intake and being conscious of what I'm watching or reading, because that can get, it can get you really emotional, exhausted, have PTSD, anxiety. I mean, it can give you all kinds of emotions. I'm sure a lot of you experiencing that. But, and it brought me to this piece. Yeah, you're probably wondering, oh, there it is. This piece right behind me. It's called They Lynched Me with a Glitter Rope. So, yes, that's, a tough image to watch. But I did that a little while ago, and it was in reference to me living in a certain small town. And the background story is, so I was working in various small towns and living in various small towns. And I had sort of thought I built this network of people in a particular town. And things rolled out of place. And, that was also a time, when my mom was passing away, when my mom was ill. And um, these particular people who I thought were my network, my group of people, white people, yes, I have to point that out, you know, sort of abandoned me. Not only abandoned me, threw me under the bus. A lot of them actually also emotionally abused me while I was going through all that. And, at that point, my mom had also passed away. And they looked the other way, and I thought, wow, okay, I'm learning, And like I mentioned, my mom had passed away. There was this racist man living next to me, broke into my house and just said all kind of racist things at 1:30 in the morning. So I'm going through all these things. And in the meantime, these people that I thought were you know, my network and my support system were busy basically lynching me in more ways than one. I mean, I'm just going to focus on the part, with the legal part. But, I mean, like anywhere from appropriating my work and pretending things weren't happening to me and them seeing these things happening to me and looking the other way, um, for me felt like a lynching. And I'll explain this piece. So I felt like, I don't know if you can see, the glitter through the screen, but so this piece is, like this high heeled shoe, and you see the exclamation mark right over here. And I felt like I had moved to small town. Everyone was like, "Oh, a city girl." I wasn't. Of course, I'm black, so I'm probably a city girl. And that's what I felt like they saw me as. And that didn't bother me so much, really. But oh, okay, we're recording. And but the exclamation mark, the glitter was like, who is this person? And part of it, there was some naivety to me that I thought, okay, I'm transparent, everybody should know who I am, and I'm having these, so I thought, authentic relationships, which I wasn't. And so I felt like they sprinkled glitter on their lynching. They sprinkled glitter on, oh my gosh, like their not just abandonment, but like what happened. And I'll reveal a few of these things, as time goes by. And I want to talk about that, in that, because of what emotions I went through this morning. Clearly not as intense as it was last week, but that's what it was. And I've seen a lot of it happening right now on Facebook. These same people who basically did a lot of horrible things to me last year are talking about Black Lives Matter. They're also talking about, oh, help from Minneapolis, and they're trying to, gather these donated goods. I'm like, come on, let's stop with the pretense. Like, go hide yourself in your little corner. Nobody is going to ask you to be supportive. There are lots of allies. There are lots of people who actually care. So don't pretend like you care. That's more of an insult. It takes me to this scripture in the Bible that says, a man that doesn't take care of his household is worse than an infidel. So you're pretending that you care, but when you had the opportunity to help a Black person, you didn't stand up. You didn't actually. There are a lot of simple things you could have done, and and I'm going to give praise where praise is due. Like when the person broke into my house, and Lisa Berry played that on KTIS, today. When the person broke into my house, and actually there was video. I did record a video, which I'm going to try to find. Um, and I still didn't call the cops because I was scared, because I had had bad experiences, in addition to them following me everywhere. But a friend of mine, and I'll name her because you can't just say, we're naming people, or we're talking about the people who died, but let's give credit to the people that did something. My friend Kathy Granis, she came, got me, took me to the police. I had really high anxiety. And she literally held my hand. She's like, no, I'm here with you. And we went and made a police report, and I can't talk much about that case because it's an ongoing case. He was eventually arrested, and the officer, Officer Burns, really, I know that's his job, but for me, it felt like he went out of his way to, make sure that charges were filed, here. And he came to my house and he kept making sure that I was okay. And something didn't work with the video. He came back. He's like, I'm going to come get it. He was like very proactive in helping me. And so I have to remember those people. But that was also in the midst of people that were supposed to be my friends, my colleagues, that were actually doing not so good things. Either looking away, because when you look away, you're condoning what's happening. So that's when I sort of created this piece. Actually, that's not when, but I did. I'm gonna say beginning of this year or around December, November, but it just felt like, wow, they just sprinkled some goodness on it. And I feel like they're doing it again. Please stop it because you're opening up old wounds. And yes, there are people that might look at me and be like, well, why did you go to small town? Even when the breaking, when people broke in, when that dude broke into my house, like there were a lot of people who were like, why did you move there? Why did, it's not all bad. I've lived in small towns where, I mean, it was beautiful. Buffalo Lake Police was really nice to me. They would check on me if I was, to make sure I was okay. I made my neighbors, are now my lifelong friends. They're 80 and 79. Tom and Judy, don't be mad if I didn't get your ages right. But, there are a lot of things that happened there too in that, and that was a different small town. But with what's happening now, a lot of people think that you have to be a bad Black person. You have to be running away from police. You have to be holding a gun, wielding a gun to, have all those injustices happen to you, or like to be manhandled. I've had this white woman call the cops on me for no reason for the longest time. And I love my afro, okay? For the longest time in small town, I'd put on a hat. It's not like they won't identify me. I mean, obviously I've got black skin, but so they don't see me from a distance. Because I felt like, especially the officer who followed me, like he was going a separate direction, and then he saw me and turned around and followed me. That's traumatizing. So I tried to, like sort of hide, and there was no way to hide. And yes, I went to small town. Yes, I'm adventurous. It's my fault. Blame me, okay? And but like I said, it wasn't all bad. It was just last year there was so much that happened, and I'm gonna share um a lot more of what happened. But I just want to talk about this piece because that's how it feels like to me on Facebook. People pretending, yet when they had an opportunity to do something, they did not do anything. So please stop it. And I'm probably not the only person who's going through that. I'm sure there are other people who have seen what you've done to them, and whoever you are, I'm speaking of the ones that I know, and it hurts more. Look away, pretend it's not happening. Let the people who actually care have a conversation with us. Let the people who actually care protest. You know, but your pretense isn't helping me one bit. Your pretense is not helping Black people one bit. So please stop it.